Top 12 most dangerous cities in Europe. A shocking reveal. Europe, the land of romance, breathtaking architecture, and centuries of history. But behind the postcard-perfect images, there are cities where danger lurks just beneath the surface. Some places are plagued by organized crime, others by violent gangs, and some have neighborhoods where even the locals know not to wander after dark. If you're thinking about traveling or even moving to one of these cities, you might want to rethink your plans. Today we're diving into the 12 most dangerous cities in Europe. Places where crime is rising, the streets can be unpredictable, and tourists often find themselves easy targets. Before we start, if you love learning about places, whether it's the best cities to move to or the ones you should avoid, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We break down cities, crime stats, hidden gems, and places you need to know about. So if that sounds like something you're into, stick around, hit like, and let's get started. Now let's be clear. Not every part of these cities is a crime-ridden nightmare. Some of them have vibrant cultures, stunning landmarks, and safe areas where tourists can still enjoy their visit. But, as someone who has traveled across Europe, I can tell you, there are neighborhoods where you'll feel the tension in the air. Places where you don't just keep your wallet close, you keep your head on a swivel. These rankings are based on crime rates, gang activity, police reports, and personal experiences from locals and travelers alike. Let's count them down, starting with number 12. 12. Marseille, France. Marseille, the sun-soaked port city of southern France, might be famous for its stunning coastline and rich culture, but it's also home to some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Western Europe. While the Vieux-Port, Old Port area is a tourist hotspot, venture into the northern districts like La Castellane or Félix-Piat, and you'll find a completely different side of the city. Drug cartels run rampant here, and gang-related shootings are common, earning Marseille the nickname, the Chicago of France. The city's deep ties to drug trafficking, particularly cocaine smuggling from North Africa, have fueled violent turf wars. On top of that, petty crime, like pickpocketing and scams targeting tourists, is widespread, especially around train stations and busy markets. While Marseille has undeniable charm, if you're planning a visit, you'd be wise to stick to the safer areas and always stay aware of your surroundings. 11. Naples, Italy. Naples is often described as the most raw and authentic city in Italy. But that authenticity comes with a dark side. The city's infamous Camorra Mafia has operated in Naples for centuries, and while their influence might not be immediately visible to tourists, it's deeply embedded in the city's daily life. In districts like Scampia and Secondigliano, drug deals happen in broad daylight, and violence between rival factions erupts regularly. The historic center and areas near the train station are prime hunting grounds for pickpockets, who are known to work in coordinated teams. Even driving in Naples can feel chaotic. Carjackings and vehicle break-ins happen frequently, and certain areas are best avoided at night. Despite all this, Naples remains a city with an undeniable soul. The food, the history, and the passion of its people make it one of Italy's most fascinating destinations, but one that requires extra caution. Would you like the rest of the cities expanded in the same way? Also, let me know if you want an even stronger call to action. 10. Birmingham, England. While London often takes the spotlight for crime in the UK, Birmingham has quietly built a reputation as one of the most dangerous cities in the country. Nicknamed gun capital of Britain, Birmingham has long struggled with gang violence, illegal firearms, and knife crime. Certain areas, like Lozells, Handsworth, and Aston, are well known to law enforcement as hotspots for violent crime, often linked to long-standing gang rivalries. But the danger isn't just limited to gang-related activity. Random street crime, drug-fueled violence, and even acid attacks have been reported in the city center. Tourists and newcomers often find themselves targeted by scammers, especially near crowded areas like the Bullring shopping district. Even public transportation isn't always safe, as thefts and assaults have increased on late-night buses and trains. While Birmingham remains an important economic and cultural hub in the UK, safety concerns make it one of the cities where you need to keep your wits about you, especially after dark. 9. Brussels, Belgium. Brussels may be the political heart of the European Union, but don't let the grand government buildings and elegant architecture fool you. This city has a growing crime problem. Over the years, street crime has skyrocketed, particularly in areas like Molenbeek, which has been linked to organized crime and radical extremist networks. The city's central train stations, like Gare du Midi and Brussels North, are notorious for pickpockets, drug activity, and violent muggings, especially at night. Police reports have highlighted a sharp rise in carjackings, home burglaries, and physical assaults. with some neighborhoods becoming no-go zones for tourists and even locals. What's worse, law enforcement in Brussels has been overwhelmed, struggling to curb the growing crime wave. The contrast is stark. On one hand, you have the historic Grand Place and luxury shops of Avenue Louise, and on the other, areas where gang-controlled crime runs unchecked. If you're planning a visit, you'd better have a tight grip on your belongings and a sharp sense of awareness. 8. Athens, Greece. The birthplace of democracy, ancient ruins, and rising crime rates? Athens might be one of the most historically significant cities in the world, but modern Athens comes with its fair share of problems. The city has seen an increase in organized crime, drug-related violence, and property crimes over the past decade. Areas like Omonia and Exarchia are known for their anarchist movements, where violent clashes with police are common. Omonia, in particular, has gained a reputation for open-air drug markets, where addicts and dealers exchange goods in broad daylight. The streets around Monastiraki, a popular tourist destination, are filled with pickpockets looking for easy prey. While Athens is still a must-visit for history buffs, the growing crime problem means visitors should be extra cautious, especially in poorly lit areas at night. It's a city that offers a mix of the ancient and the modern, but also one that demands you stay on high alert. 7. Stockholm, Sweden. Most people associate Sweden with safety, prosperity, and progressive values. But in recent years, Stockholm has seen a disturbing rise in violent crime, particularly in its suburbs. Gun violence, once rare in Sweden, has surged due to escalating conflicts between rival gangs involved in the drug trade. Areas like Rinkeby, Husby, and Tensta, often referred to as no-go zones by law enforcement, have been plagued by shootings, grenade attacks, and car bombings. While the city center remains relatively safe for tourists, pickpocketing and fraud schemes have become increasingly common, particularly in crowded areas like the Gamla Stan, Old Town, and Stockholm Central Station. Police resources are stretched thin, and even Swedish citizens are expressing concern over the rapid changes in the city's safety. Stockholm may still be a Scandinavian gem, but there's no denying that its growing crime problem is starting to tarnish its once pristine reputation. 6. London, England. London, the bustling metropolis that has it all. World-class attractions, history, culture, and an increasingly worrying crime rate. While the city has always had areas with higher crime levels, knife violence has reached unprecedented levels in recent years. Certain districts, like Peckham, Tottenham, and Brixton, have become notorious for gang activity, and random stabbings have made headlines more frequently than ever. Even in tourist-heavy areas like Oxford Street and Piccadilly Circus, pickpockets and fraudsters work in teams, targeting distracted visitors. Moped thieves, criminals who snatch bags and phones from unsuspecting pedestrians while riding scooters, have become a massive problem. And then there's cybercrime. London is considered a hub for financial fraud and identity theft, making it not just physically dangerous but digitally dangerous as well. While most areas remain safe for tourists, it's wise to be extra cautious, especially on public transport and in nightlife districts. London's energy is unmatched, but so is its ability to keep you on edge. 5. Berlin, Germany. Berlin is known for its rebellious spirit, underground art scene, and vibrant nightlife. But it's also one of Germany's most crime-ridden cities. The city has seen a rise in violent crime, particularly in neighborhoods like Neukölln, Kreuzberg, and Görlitzer Park, which have become hotspots for drug trafficking and gang-related violence. Pickpocketing, theft, and scams are rampant in high-traffic areas like Alexanderplatz and the U-Bahn stations. At night, some streets can feel eerily unsafe, especially for solo travelers. Despite Berlin's efforts to clean up its image, problems like police understaffing and growing social unrest have contributed to a crime rate that continues to rise. The city still attracts millions of visitors each year, but it's a place where you need to keep your eyes open and your belongings close. 4. Paris, France. Paris, the city of love, fashion, and high crime rates. While the Eiffel Tower and Champs-Élysées attract millions of tourists every year, the city has a darker side that many visitors don't expect. Areas like Gare du Nord, Château Rouge, and Stalingrad have become increasingly dangerous due to drug-related violence and organized crime. Pickpockets are everywhere, especially in metro stations and near famous landmarks. Violent protests and riots have also become more frequent, making certain areas risky during times of civil unrest. Tourists often fall victim to sophisticated scams, from fake petitions to bracelet cons, leaving them robbed before they even realize what's happened. Paris may be breathtaking, but if you're visiting, don't let its charm distract you from the risks. 3. Rotterdam, Netherlands. While Amsterdam gets most of the attention, Rotterdam has a crime problem that often flies under the radar. The city is a major hub for drug trafficking, leading to violent gang disputes. Rotterdam's port, the largest in Europe, is a gateway for smuggling operations, which has fueled organized crime. Shootings, stabbings, and explosions linked to drug-related conflicts have become increasingly common. Even outside of gang violence, street crime is a major concern. Certain neighborhoods like Charleroi and Spangen have high rates of theft and robbery. While Rotterdam's modern architecture and vibrant nightlife attract many, its growing reputation for crime makes it a city that demands caution. 2. Glasgow, Scotland. Glasgow has long been known as one of the most violent cities in the UK. Knife crime, gang violence, and alcohol-fueled assaults are major issues, particularly in areas like Postle Park, Easterhouse, and Govan Hill. While the city has made efforts to curb its violent crime rate, it remains one of the most dangerous places in the UK for street violence. Late-night fights in pub districts and dangerous alleyways mean that caution is key when exploring Glasgow after dark. 1. Kiev, Ukraine. Before the war, Kiev already had a high crime rate, with corruption, gang activity, and dangerous neighborhoods. Now, with the ongoing conflict, the situation has only worsened. Law enforcement is overwhelmed, and the black market has flourished. Basic safety is no longer guaranteed, making it the most dangerous city in Europe right now. So there you have it. 12 of the most dangerous cities in Europe. But remember, no city is completely unsafe, and no city is 100% secure. Crime exists everywhere, but in these places, it's something you need to be especially aware of. If you've been to any of these cities, drop your experience in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another eye-opening video.